Welcome to Headlines and History, live news reactions and your views. We're about to go live soon, so grab your spot and get ready for a sharp, balanced take on today's news stories with a dash of historical insight. Stay tuned. Each week, we tackle the headlines that matter: politics, economics, global events with a balanced lens. We'll react live, tie today's stories to historical moments, and spotlight your views in the chat. From trade talks echoing the 1990s to crises recalling 2008, we're here to unpack it all. Your voice drives the show. Share your thoughts or historical parallels in the live chat, and we'll dive into the best ones. It's news, context, and community all in 1 hour. We're moments away from launching Headlines and History. Stick around for live reactions, historical nuggets, and your chance to chime in. Hit the notification bell, prep your comments, and let's make sense of the news together. See you soon.
Hey, welcome back to the show, guys. So today we're going to be jumping into a conversation that has evolved from my feed. Yesterday we talked about the after effect or the reactions that a lot of people have had about Zoran Mamdani's win. Now, if you watched yesterday's live stream, you will notice that during the live stream, I kept holding back from addressing certain things that I saw in my feed. I kept holding back from talking about them because if you notice, I said this is going to take the live stream in a direction that I don't want it to go. However, in the end, I said I was going to move on from the New York mayoral race and the Zoran topic and move on to something else. And this morning, after getting out of bed, I set my mind towards focusing only on other things, but my feed was saturated with conversations around the mayoral race and the implications of Zoran's positioning as not just a democratic socialist, but as a Muslim. And I was like, do I really want to dive into this? And no matter how hard, in fact, I prepared the show several times and it kept taking me back to this topic. So I felt, okay, there's something here and I want to talk about it. Now, as always, please make your voice heard in the chat. Let me know your thoughts concerning this conversation. The question on the screen, now we're going to go through Charlie Kirk's videos, several videos from Charlie Kirk. And he's going to explain something about the combination of leftism and Islam working against the West. Now, just bear with me. I don't like sensationalism, and I don't think you do either, unless you secretly do and you're just pretending when you come to my platform. But I want us to kind of have a clear-eyed conversation around this topic. Because here's the thing. We are looking at actually a real-time invasion happening within the United States coming through politics. If you look at what's going on in Dearborn, Michigan, and other enclaves in the United States, you can see something similar to what has happened already in the United Kingdom. So let's just have a conversation. The question is, do you believe Charlie Kirk was right about the alliance between the far left and radical Islam being dangerous for America? I'm going to let you put your thoughts in the chat. All right, now, as always, I will read through the chat messages and I will respond to the chat messages, but I'm going to go through the videos and then check the chat. So if you don't see me acknowledging your chats during the live stream, it is simply because I need to focus on this so that the conversation doesn't get derailed. It's a very sensitive topic and I just want to do it justice and I want to be fair while I'm having the conversation. Being distracted by something that happens in the chat may not benefit everyone. So I'm trying very hard to focus on the conversation so that we can actually do something good for this live stream. All right, so as always, I'm expecting to see you put in your thoughts in the chat. One moment, please. I just need to play this video and then we will respond to or react to what we're hearing.
The spiritual battle is coming to the West. And the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school, while also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Everybody, if you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us. And it's time that the church stands and rises up against it. Yep.
Someone might watch this and say, this is an Islamophobic rant. Like Ilhan Omar said during her interview with CNN that Charlie Kirk was hateful and that his legacy belongs in the dustbin of history, according to her. Now, saying the truth about something is not being hateful. If you say that the United States was founded on Christianity, on Christian values, the jurisprudence of the United States has been influenced greatly, if not completely, by Christian values. That is not being hateful. I watched the debate between Hillary Clinton and, no, it was a town hall meeting or debate between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump back in 2016. And Hillary Clinton said something that was very weird. She said that Islam or Muslims were quite influential in the early days of the founding of the United States. And I would say, well, that is not true. You see, people rewrite history in order to pander to a certain group. Already, my opening has alienated a bunch of people who believe that, and I don't mind simply telling you the truth. If me telling you the truth is going to alienate you from the live stream, that's fine. Go ahead and find someone who will tell you what you want to hear. However, when you look at the history of the United States, it is clear that when the Mayfair docked on the port, or not the port, off the shores of the New World, it was crewed and passengered, if that's the word, by people who were fleeing England because they were termed the Puritans, the people who wanted to serve God in a way that was more in line with the teachings of the scriptures. They were being persecuted in England and essentially in many parts of Europe, and they needed a new world where they would build a society that was committed to Christian values. So anyone coming up to say that that Christianity is not at the core foundation of the founding of the United States is being deceptive, dishonest, or simply, in my opinion, being very evil. Because when you take away the founding principles of a society, you're essentially taking away the heart of that society, which for many years wokeism has been doing. Now, here's Charlie Kirk again talking about this. I want to play his words. Then I'm going to play a Fox News report about the reaction that certain people have had about, with Zoran's win. We're going to see what some New Yorkers are claiming to do. Now, whether they're going to do it or not, no one really knows, but they do. But we're going to hear that, and then we're going to listen to some of the other reactions in line with what we're looking at. We're seeing people saying, these policies don't make sense. I don't think I want to live here in New York anymore. I'm moving out of New York. And then we have a group of people who are celebrating not the free buses. You see, there are people out there who are putting out videos saying, yay to free buses, yay to free this and the other. But there are a different group of people who are celebrating something completely different from free buses, government-run grocery stores. Look, they don't care about that. Let's watch Charlie Kirk. Look, there's so much to say, but let me know your thoughts while the videos are playing. Let me know your thoughts while we're going through these talking points, and let's figure out for ourselves whether there is something to be understood from everything that is being presented before our eyes.
In Islam, in the verses, you are allowed to lie, you are allowed to deceive in front of God as long as it advances the aims and goals of Islam. Foreign concept to those of us as Christians. Because what is the ultimate value claim of Christianity? It is truth. Because our Lord and Savior is truth, and truth became flesh. At the top of all of it, it is truth. In Islam, it is not truth. Truth is not the ultimate Islamic value. It's not. It's power. It's domination, subjugation, conquer, conquest. You see, we are called to make disciples of all nations by winning them over, by converting them with songs, praise, teaching, scripture, prayer. Islam is taking over by force. There's a reason why it is a religion of the sword.
All right, now let's look at Fox News. So here's a report. Escape from New York. This was posted early hours of this morning. All right, real estate agents are getting flooded with calls whose job will be moving people from New York to Florida. All right, they're calling it the Mamdani migration. Now, look, don't shoot the messenger. I see you, Canary King. Greetings. I'm doing great. Let's see. Let's listen to this. Let me know your thoughts as we go through these stories, and as we go through, I'm trying to connect the dots. Okay, I'm trying to connect the dots.
Some New Yorkers are thinking of packing up and getting out already. They call it the Mamdani migration. The New York Post is reporting that real estate agents are getting flooded with phone calls. Luxury real estate agent Ryan Serhant told the Post that his #1 job will be moving people from New York to Florida again. And based on the results, clients are going to hold off on making any kind of investment in New York City. Lydia Moynihan knows all about this. She's a financial correspondent at the Post and broke this story. Lydia, I had a bunch of my friends over the weekend when they saw this coming saying, oh my goodness, I wish I sold last year. This is a nightmare. How could this be happening? So is this Mamdani migration a real thing?
I think it is, and I hate to say that. Look, what's not surprising is it in the wake of him clinching that Democratic nomination that wealthy people, really anyone with sort of a vested interest in the city, was exploring options of where they could move. Florida, of course, is a well-trodden path at this point. But what's much more concerning is the fact that people are actually walking away from deals. So people who were either in process of signing and purchasing an apartment or, potentially buying something in the future, they're walking away. And so for the next 4 months, I think we're going to see a decrease in the investment in New York City, anyone with a business is going to be a little hesitant. And of course, that's going to be amplified for 4 years if Mamdani is elected. And of course, you know, Laura, the irony is that these are the very people who he needs to be paying for all of these programs. I mean, the things he's outlined sound like Doge cuts, right? Money, millions of dollars to transgender surgeries for minors. And there's really no way that he can do that if, as I think people will, they're going to pack up and leave.
All right, so that's people who have the means to do so. Not the average New Yorker will not be able to live on a dime. He's committed to a lease. He's committed to a job. He needs the job in order to fund his move. He's most likely in debt. So the average guy isn't going anywhere soon. But these people are luxury clients who intend to move their assets to another state that is friendly to them. And I know that it looks like, okay, these are if they're leaving, we don't need them. Now, we saw the same threats from people who said if President Trump wins the election, we're moving out of the United States. We saw those threats, even though most of those people didn't carry out their threats. They had a lot of bluster, but they didn't carry forward those threats. Some of them still live in the United States. Now, for New York, I think it's different because these are people who, because, you know, this is someone who is operating closer to you. He's running the city where you do business, where you live, and he's told you, in order to fund these programs, we're going to tax rich white people. We're going to increase the taxes on wealthy people in order to fund these things. And the writing is on the wall. And already the migration from California is a case in point, where California didn't treat the people that paid most of its taxes very well. They all moved to Texas and to Florida. In the same way, New York, which has been historically the financial hub of the country, has essentially reached that point where the wealthy are now saying to themselves, look, New Yorkers want these policies. We're not going to wait until the other shoe drops. We're going to move. So that's something to think about, right? And that's from the real estate point of view. Now, I did say that there's an angle that I've been trying to avoid. I've been avoiding this angle because it is not a pleasant angle to examine. So in the wake of Mamdani's win, we saw the people who were supportive of his socialist policies. We had a vibrant conversation around the fact that the 1% controlling everyone else was not acceptable. And one of the things that we should notice about history is that historically, power shifts happen when the masses feel a sense of malcontent or discontentment. And then someone stands up on a stool, you know, a young man by the name of Adolf runs a grassroots movement where he's conducting speeches in taverns and bars and small halls across the country, saying how this group of people have impoverished every other German and so on. And then there's a groundswell of support for him. And then eventually he becomes the leader of the country. And we all know how that went. There's always a connection between shifts in the way people vote, who they vote, and the fact that people feel like they're being cheated by the wealthy. It's always been that way. So let's keep an eye on that topic. We did that yesterday, but we also need to keep our eyes on a separate topic, because there are a group of people who are celebrating free buses, rent-controlled apartments, government-run grocery stores, and all the things that Zoran Mamdani promised while he was campaigning. However, there's another group of people who were celebrating at the same time, but not for the same reasons. All right? They're celebrating the possibility that Sharia law is going to be implemented in New York City. And that should concern every American now. You're going to hear people say that Sharia law isn't going to take over New York City. That's preposterous. Well, the people in the UK thought the same thing, and right now there are essentially towns in the UK that are run on Sharia law. So let's watch these videos.
Sharia law starts now. Absolutely. Zoran Mamdani, Islamic Caliphate, our brother in Islam, Islamic Caliphate of New York starts today, baby.
God, there is just something so electric, so satisfying about knowing that my MAGA parents, wherever they are probably having a horrible night tonight. Oh, I literally just got goosebumps thinking about it. Like they are in such a bad mood probably about the fact that Zoran just won and Prop 50 is gonna pass. Like,
so there are two reactions. The first reaction, the girls, possibly Muslim girls in the bar, are celebrating that Sharia law kicks off today. That's what they're celebrating. This young lady is sitting in her apartment, happy that her MAGA parents are probably seething at home, and that's the reason why she's celebrating. Two separate types of celebrations are going on. Now, let's listen to, okay, this is the debate I mentioned. Maybe we're not going to get to that. We're not going to get to that. So here's a statement. Now, I don't know if there's something wrong with my X feed, all right? But my X feed has filled up with these conversations. And while the rest of the country is focused on Affordable Care Act, we're going to talk about that during the stream it's the next segment that we're going to talk about. There are other people who are talking about the trade war, the tariffs, they're talking about the shutdown and so on. Something is happening under the covers in the United States that is being ignored. And if it's not discussed openly, it's going to grow to the point where you won't know what to do with it in the next 15 to 20 years. I saw this video a few days back, and I was like, okay, do I want to watch this? Do I want to look at this? Do I want to talk about this? And then, so here's a group of imams discussing how the West can be taken over. And let's just listen.
700 years of our trial to conquer Europe by force failed. They did something wrong, very wrong. They tried for many years to conquer Europe through wars, only wars.
This is the soft Islamic conquest of the West. Basically, what the Islamic and again, I'm an Orthodox Muslim. What we couldn't do in the last, say, 20 years, now the West is doing it for us for free and even paying for it.
Allah permitted them to live off the infidel while they are subduing them. So it had sort of a parasitic type of attitude where they can live off of the host country, where their goal is to eventually eradicate the host culture and supplant it with Islam.
700.
So this is a plan no one wants to talk about, because if you discuss it, you're either an Islamophobe or you're engaging in conspiracy theories. But here you have these imams discussing this on a Zoom call, and it is recorded and it's out there on the internet. We have this, let's see if we can play this. Yes, we can. This is an interview that took place a while back, and I want you to listen to to what they have to say, and then I'll go into the chat and we can have a conversation around this before we jump into the affordable care situation.
When I was an extremist, Islamist, fundamentalist, I would only vote left.
Why is that?
I saw them as very stupid. I would fear the conservatives because they come with principle. That's not someone they can brainwash. But the left, I know they have no values and no principles to begin with. I dare you to find one Islamic extremist that votes for Donald Trump. Never do it. They'd give their vote to the leftist who wants to run around in pride parades. And Islamic extremists are against gays and homosexuals and transgenders, but they want the left to go and get busy with that. They want them, go speak about the climate, go speak about abortion, go kill yourselves, go do that. And Omar, she's fighting for abortion rights and all the other, my body, my choice. Yes, go do that. But would she have an abortion? Never. Would she kill a Muslim in her stomach? Never.
What is the fundamentalist and jihadi agenda for America?
The future of America has to be Muslim.
Yeah, so while we're busy arguing about real estate prices and free buses and free healthcare, there's a different group of people playing by different rules. They are not interested in those things. Those are the things that you're interested in. We will promise to give these things to you. We will lie to you to tell you that we're going to make these things happen. We heard the first Charlie Kirk speech where he says that in Islam, it is allowed for you to lie before God and men if it will further the cause of Islam. It is a teaching in Islam that you're allowed to do that. Christians aren't allowed to lie. We are conscientious. We base everything we do on truth, and we hold to those tenets like a vice. But it's not the same for fundamentalist Islamists. They will lie in order to gain power, get into your system, and to change it from within. None of the Muslims in Congress swore an oath, using the Holy Bible. It's been traditionally, used as a means to swear in new Congress people. The United States Constitution was written for a Christian people. It was not written for people, for a multicultural or multi-religious country. The moment you begin to change the very fabric of your of what constitutes your lawmakers, your country essentially is over, and that is my opinion. Now, I'm going to jump into the chat. All right, Canary King, you're very vocal now. You're saying yes, fine, let them move. It's a great sentiment to say let the people who have all the money and who hire the most people in your city move. And in most cases, they will move with their resources. They will move with their jobs. That's what tends to happen. So when they move, what's going to happen? The city is going to begin to reach out to the federal government to bankroll everything, because the subsidies that will be required to keep the city of New York running, when the wealthy people who pay, by the way, over 40% of the taxes already, when they move to Florida and take their money with them, who's going to pay for the running of New York? The regular citizens. They are going to raise your taxes. You're going to be paying more in taxes by then. That's the way this works. It's simple math. All right, it's simple math. Again, in the chat, emphasizing, please go, bye, baby, bye. Oh, sorry, baby, bye, bye, bye. And then what else? The average guy is going to be the beneficiary of the move. No, the average guy is going to be the one paying the bills. because when they move and take their resources with them, someone has to pay the bills. And that someone is going to be the average New Yorker. I mean, that's the way it works. This is not a good sign, but like I said, let's wait and see what happens. Fox News is mainstream media. Let's see what happens, as it happens. We're going to be tracking this carefully, and we will be looking into the aftermath of this entire situation. All right. Like I said yesterday, time is our friend. We're going to just relax. We can learn from what's going on in other countries where this has been allowed to evolve to its, or let me say, it has been allowed to advance. What we're seeing is a citizen of New York who is an immigrant who pandered to immigrants to get their votes. He created campaign ads in Arabic. Look, guys, if you live in a country where the majority of the population speaks English, and you have the guy who is the candidate for one party campaigning in a foreign language, that should be a red flag, a huge red flag for you. It shouldn't be a question. You're living in the United States. The official language of the United States is English. You should not be campaigning in Spanish, French, or Arabic. You shouldn't. It is gratifying to immigrants to hear their native language, but what you're signaling is that you are not the same as the local population. You are different, and we permit you to remain different. And that is why there's a lack of assimilation or integration when it comes to immigrants. A lot of them stay in their own enclaves. They keep their languages and their traditions, and it's a bad thing for the communities where they live, because they essentially are saying, we're going to remain separate. We're going to create our own systems. We're going to create our own way of living within your country, and you can't do anything about it. And it's a bad sign, honestly. Tara says, any investor with common sense will go elsewhere. The system will crumble and all the policies he's intent on making. Yeah, because here's the thing with communists. Communists only go to places that have already been built up by capitalists. Communists never create anything. They are like, they basically go to places that have already been built up by someone else, and then they claim that there's a certain injustice inherent in the fact that someone went out of their way, took risks, built up their country or built up the society, and then suddenly it is a bad thing that that person who took those risks early on is being rewarded for the risks that they took. People are hating on someone like Elon Musk. They say, Elon, he's a problem. Elon Musk came to the United States as an immigrant. He spent years investing his life building PayPal, and then he took his equity from PayPal, went into SpaceX, and then went into Tesla, the boring company. He took his equity. If he was all about just being a billionaire, he could have taken his winnings and rode off into the sunset. But he took the equity he got and then went and risked it on SpaceX, the boring company, Tesla, X. I mean, he's taking these risks. And then in the end, when these risks begin to, or when his gamble or his investments begin to reward him, the people who didn't take any risks get resentful. That's what communism is. It is an ideology built on resentment and envy. Show me a country that was built solely on communism or socialism. They can't build anything. All right? Again, I'm responding to the chat. So if you have thoughts on what you've heard so far or what you see in the chat, please let me know in the chat, and then I will read out your chat and address your statement. Rich white people, Cross, did you just say that? No, I didn't say that. He did. I didn't say that. Right. So let's cross check. Let us fact check me, okay? Because Canary King is saying that I said that that Zoran was going to tax rich white people. So I'm going to fact check myself here with Grok. So guys, stay with me now. Remember, send your comments in the chat and then I will respond. Did Zoran Mamdani say he was going to fund his free policies by taxing rich, wealthy people or focusing certain stringent tax regulations on white communities?
Hey, if you're asking about regulations targeting white communities, that's kind of backwards from history. Most U.S. policies actually protected...
All right, I'm going to have to... It didn't hear me properly, so... Did Zoran Mamdani say he was going to tax rich white people in order to fund his policies for free bus routes and so on? And did he say that he was going to target white communities in order to raise funding for other policies that he promised during the campaign trail?
Yeah, it's Zoran Mamdani, right? From what I saw on his campaign site and interviews, he did pitch shifting property taxes to hit richer and whiter neighborhoods harder, like those pricey Brooklyn brownstones, to fund stuff like free buses, universal childcare, and rent freezes. He framed it as fixing an unfair system that burdens outer boroughs more, not straight up tax white people. But yeah, he tied it to race and class. Critics blew it up big time, calling it race-based.
So I didn't say it, he did. So Canary King, it's not me. Zoran said it with his own lips, okay? By the way, the British colonists were kicked out. American Revolution, let's face it, exploitation leads to either a revolution or the election of a guy that will interfere. That is true. And do you know what? Revolutions, the success of a revolution depends on the ideology that drives the revolution. I've talked about the fact that the French Revolution was a revolution, but it was a failure. The American Revolution was a revolution, but it was a success because the ideologies driving both revolutions were very different. The worldviews are very different. The French Revolution was driven by an atheistic view of life. It was driven by leftists. The American Revolution was driven by Christians. There was a revolution that took place in England that was driven by Christian values. It was a success. So whenever you look at the predominant ideology that drives a revolution, it tells you whether that revolution will succeed or not. Again, in the chat, I'm actually a bit amused by the idea of communist stores. I don't think it will work, but we will see. Well, it hasn't worked. It's never worked. And I don't think it's going to work this time. I don't think it's going to work. Because the forces that drive commerce require a freer hand for the principles of economics to drive things. If the government tries to control the prices of goods by running a communist store, where will they buy the goods from? They will buy the goods from businesses that yield to these market forces. if the cost of diesel goes up, the prices of groceries on the shelves should go up. What government-run stores do is they artificially control the prices of these groceries by subsidizing these groceries, by taking on the burden of the cost of these groceries. So let's say the supplier increases the cost of the product because diesel has gone up, or something took place on the road and now it's more expensive to get the groceries to the shelves. The government has to offset that additional thing. It's called a subsidy. And we're going to talk about the Affordable Care Act subsidy in a bit. And it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that what's happening right now, or what is fixing to happen to Americans, is going to be a shocker, because when the government says we're going to give you a subsidy, what happens when that subsidy goes away? It's like the Nigerian system. I will always pull back from my experiences in Nigeria. For decades, the Nigerian government gave a subsidy to fuel. And so they subsidized the cost of fuel for decades. And suddenly, the subsidies were removed a couple of years back, and the cost of diesel hit the country like a brick, so that it even affected the valuation of our currency. It is wrong for governments to step in with subsidies. I will say it again. It is wrong for governments to step in with subsidies, because it leaves a massive buffer for corruption to take place. So let the market do its thing. So if the communist stores are allowed to run, you're going to see massive corruption. You're going to see shortages taking place at these government-run stores, because when the funding for these subsidies runs out, because the wealthy people you wanted to tax by hitting them harder with taxes so that you could fund all of these things, when they leave town, where are you going to get the money from? You're going to go back to the people to say, okay, we're going to need you to chip in. And the people are going to say, no, why don't you go to the federal government? And of course, the federal government is not obligated to fund your experiment. So the thing collapses on itself. You need to let the market forces do their thing. All right? Now, I've responded to the comments in the chat. Thank you for sending your comments in the chat. I appreciate it. We're going to look at the affordable care situation very quickly. There's only so much we can cover within an hour. So let's look at this, okay? Well, now we're looking at the Affordable Care Act. Now, feel free to still talk about the other story, okay? The other things we've discussed earlier. Feel free to point them out and to discuss them. But I need to just move on because we're approaching the top of the hour. Right. So this woman just opened her new health insurance bill and couldn't believe her eyes. She used to pay $122 a month. Starting January 1st, 2026, her premium will jump to $853. That's what happens when a subsidy goes away. All right, these subsidies that the Democrats were fighting over to keep their mirage called Obamacare going has finally ended. Like, everything that they've been doing with the shutdown is exposing the weakness of all of their policies. Obamacare is just a scam because the government was paying subsidies to allow Americans pay for more expensive health care. Barack Obama opened the doors for health insurance companies to blow up their bills because the government was going to be subsidizing the American people. So let's listen to this lady. Now, I don't know why people do these videos while they're eating. I think I don't like seeing videos being done by people while they're eating. I'm uncomfortable seeing that. But let's listen to her talk about it.
I forgot my address. My insurance. But just opening my mail for my insurance that is renewing for 2026. Right now, I pay $122 per month for health insurance. Beginning January 1st, 2026, your monthly premium will be beginning January 1st, 2026. Your monthly premium will be, mind you, I pay $122 right now per month. Starting January, I will be having to pay you see that? $853.05 for health insurance. I'm going from paying $122 per month to $853.05 per month for health insurance. They have absolutely lost their fucking mind. They have absolutely lost their fucking mind. So guess what?
Sorry, when you were voting for the Affordable Care Act, this is what you voted for. When you voted in Barack Obama, this is what you voted in. And this is just the thing with elections. Elections have consequences. When you vote for someone who promises you pipe dreams, and you rush in and you vote them in because they're whispering sweet nothings into your ear, and you're like, well, they said they'll do it, I guess they'll do it, and you go ahead and vote them in. This is what you get. Obama, now it turns out that the shutdown that was carried out by the Republican Party was meant to block the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. Barack Obama, of course, did that video where he said, if you don't like a law, change it. I played it during a previous live stream. And everyone was like, yeah, and they were so inspired by Barack Obama standing up to these racist Republicans because a black president was trying to do something meaningful for the American people. Oh, look at him go. And they were all teared up and they were so inspired. But the Republicans were warning that this isn't the way to run a country. You can't promise the American people subsidies on expensive healthcare over what they're already paying. What they already have is fine. Let them keep doing what they're doing. But Obamacare simply bloated the cost of healthcare and then put the bill on the American taxpayer. That's what was going on. As long as you hear subsidies, we're going to make it affordable, it is all a lie. And now it's coming home to roost. It's coming home to roost. New York voted in Zoran. They are going to get the consequences of what they voted for. It's really that simple. Really that simple. All right, let's jump into the comment section. I'm going to be reading some comments. I haven't done comments in a while, so we're going to read the comment section. All right, I'm going to take some time. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight up. So Stephanie Mitchell, 19 hours ago, she watched the Donald Trump's shocking 1980 interview, and her comment was, 34 looks old. Well, when you're 34 and you're the president of a multi-million-dollar company running real estate projects all over the state of New York and possibly other parts of the country, it ages you up. I saw a meme, and I don't know if you've seen that meme before, where they compare movie stars of the 60s to movie stars of the present day, and movie stars at 40 looked 60 back in the 60s, and they're like, why was this happening? It is because people took on responsibility earlier in life back then. And responsibility ages you up. Stress ages you up. All right. And by the way of life back then was more stressful. Eleanor Smith, commenting on the video, "Watch her run." Indicted candidate cuts off interview after tough question. Said this: yes, all those who impede federal officers should be charged and serve time in prison. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Eleanor Smith. I appreciate that. All right. Again, please feel free to leave your comment in the chat. All right. Feel free to leave your comment in the chat. I love engaging with your comments and your thoughts. Whether we agree or disagree is not the issue. The issue is that we're having a conversation, and we're having a cordial conversation. I may not agree with everything you have to say, but and you may not agree with everything I have to say, but the fact that we can actually have a conversation is very important. We need to keep the conversation going. Charlie Kirk used to say, when people stop talking, violence follows. And that's very important. If I have a thought on something and I'm like, this thing is important for us to talk about, and I don't get to say it, it's going to come out in a different form that is not going to be pleasant for anyone. All right. So Canary King said, by the way, I have a business comment. I'm waiting for you to send in the business comment. I'm watching the chats. Okay. So if you, by the way, let me do this. Okay. Let me do this. All right. So I asked this question at the beginning of the live stream. Do you believe Charlie Kirk was right about the alliance between the far left and radical Islam being dangerous for America? That's a question. But if you have any other comment or question that you want to respond to, put it in the chat. I'm not restricted to answering only questions that are aligned with the videos that we've played. And if you have a question that is unrelated to the videos that we've played, go ahead and put it in the chat. This is us having a conversation. We're building a community of people that actually share ideas and talk. So I'm open to that. So CMAC7384 leaving a comment on the video, woke teacher fired after anti-Trump rant in class, said, keep the 10 commandments out of school too. And they have 3 likes. Now, I did say that you don't want teachers in school teaching you politics or giving you their political ideology. We focused on political ideology. Did I mention anything about religion? I'm not sure. But I said I send my kids to school to learn math and science. Anything outside of that, I wouldn't support it. And I may have mentioned the idea of religion as well. That's what the church is for, or that's what whatever religious institution you are committed to is there for, and that's what the home is there for. So teachers should not do that. But the 10 commandments is an instruction for living. It is not. It's not meant to be something that indicates that you're trying to teach people something that is harmful to them. It is the basis of American culture and American society. It's always been there. It's the basis. In fact, did you know that the school system was created by the church? The school system was created by the church. Sunday school was where children went to learn math and science from teachers who were Christians. So you can't separate the school system from the 10 commandments, but the United States government did that in the 60s. And prior to the 60s, did you have mass shootings? Did you have the kinds of problems you currently have in the public school system? You did not. So it'd be great to be intellectually honest about the entire thing. Okay? Okay, so Canary King is saying, I really think you should revisit Trump Nigeria. It's a hot topic. Why not milk it? There are religious. Okay, so if you want us to talk about Trump Nigeria, we can. We can. I have a bunch of people who are watching, and one of the things that I realized when we had the live stream on Sunday, there were two things that I realized. One was we had more people available to watch the live stream, so we had a surge of viewers when I put out that live stream on Sunday. The second was that the topic was very I was very passionate about it. However, I want to serve you, the viewer, with something you feel is relevant. So I would love for you to let me know your thoughts. And the reason, Anna Watson, thank you for following my content. Thank you so much. So I would want for you to be more vocal. All right. Now, for those of you who are watching on Twitch and on Kick, I want to apologize in advance because we had a surge. Like, I used to allow people who watched on Twitch and Kick to be able to chat immediately they subscribe. Now, there's a lag of about 6 minutes, I think, before you're able to chat. You have to be a follower of the channel before you can actually make a comment. So I want to apologize to you, but wait for a few minutes and then leave your comments. All right. I apologize for that, but there were a lot of bots that were, spamming the chat, and I felt like it was a distraction. I kept seeing the chat moving, and whenever the chat moves, because I'm committed to you and I want to read your chat, I look and I'm distracted because it's a chat about maybe hair lotion. And I'm like, that's not what I want to see in my chat. So I had to filter that out. Forgive me, but maybe I might take out that restriction to allow you guys, say your piece. Okay? All right. All right. So, religious. Okay. So, let's see. The business. Okay. So I'm going back to the chat. Okay. The chat. Canary King says, by the way, I have a business comment. No, I don't think Kirk was right. The business comment, I really think you should revisit Trump Nigeria. It's a hot topic. Why not milk it? Okay, I talked about that earlier. There are religious schools, so go there if you want to learn religion. That is true. There are Catholic schools. You can go there if you want a school that is driven by religion. And you can homeschool. Not everyone can homeschool, but you can also homeschool. The problem with homeschooling is, with the way the economy is, a lot of parents will struggle to homeschool. So that's a problem for a lot of people. All right, that's a problem for a lot of people. But I think homeschooling is great. I used to fantasize about homeschooling, but after moving to Canada, I found out that, well, you need a 2-income household in order to pay your mortgage, and get groceries and so many other things. So for a lot of people who didn't move to North America in their 40s, they may have started young and homeschooled their kids, and that's fine, but not for everyone. All right. American says the audience spiked, the interaction spiked. Good move to revisit the topic. Yeah, but there's also the issue of timing, because whenever I go live during the week, maybe I'm just making excuses. So I'm going to revisit the topic. I'm going to look at what's going on with the situation with Nigeria, the Trump Nigeria situation. Now, I don't see too much conversation happening about it. I don't. Okay, so we're going to leave the comment section. All right, Elite Reacts says America is collapsing. All right, so Elite Reacts, let me know why you think America is collapsing. There, of course, I did a video where Charlie Kirk was pointing out the fact that there's a team up between the far left and Islam, and that it is dangerous. Okay. I have someone else saying that I should revisit the topic about Nigeria and the people being murdered in Nigeria. It's a callback to this video. All right, these videos on Islam. Because what's going on with Nigeria is you have Islamists, people who are of the Islamic persuasion, murdering Christians in Nigeria. And President Trump has said, this has to stop. Stop it or we will. And there are people who are like, we don't want President Trump to get involved in the fight. Okay, now for those of you who haven't seen the videos, because when these things are discussed in isolation, it's hard to understand what exactly is going on. So I'm going to play a video. Just give me a second. I'm going to play a video of a minister. So I'm just going to kind of reopen this topic. I'm going to do a soft reboot of this topic. Give me a moment. I'm going to do a soft reboot of this topic. And then you let me know your thoughts. Do you think the United States should get involved? Do you think the United States should get involved in this matter? All right. So I'm going to just play this. All right. This is a soft reboot of what we did on Sunday.
We are tired to be outside performing burial every day. And they expect us to silence. Now, it's an order. Nigerian government came out openly and denied there is no massacre, there is no genocide of Christians in.
So what this pastor is doing is that he is standing inside of a mass grave. There are bodies, and so the bodies are whited out in the video. And he's saying the Nigerian government has come out to say that there is no genocide happening. Then why am I standing in a mass grave? You know, so like this is what's going on in the world, across the world, where people who adopt fundamentalist Islamic teachings go out to carry out these teachings, and then the world says, no, it's not happening. It's not happening. You're being Islamophobic.
Nigeria, and look at it today. No, Muslim. Is there any Muslim here? No.
So he's asking, is there any Muslim in this mass grave I'm standing in?
Nation, I know you're watching it. American Senate, you are watching what I'm doing. I'm saying here. Special.
So now he's appealing to the United Nations and the United States Senate.
Advisor to Trump, now, please tell Trump to save our life.
Now he's appealing to President Trump. He says, please, you guys in Senate, tell Trump to come and save our lives.
Nigeria, they are killing Christians in Nigeria, massacre Christians. If they say they kill Muslims are being killed. By who?
Now, and then he's asking if they are saying that Muslims are being killed. He's asking by who?
By Muslims.
It's Muslim on Muslim violence most of the time. All right. So I'm reopening. You know, whenever I go this way, yeah. So Canary King says, you played Deola's video and reacted to it. There are other ones you can react to. All right, so guys, I want to ask you guys to do me a favor. I'm going to ask you guys to do me a favor. I want you guys to send ideas, video topics to me, preferably from X or from YouTube. If there are videos that you want me to react to during the live stream, you can send me email to crossroadsirl@gmail.com. crossroadsirl@gmail.com. I will take those recommendations and I will add them to the upcoming live streams. I'm promising you that if the videos are, if they make sense, we're going to watch them. Now, I want to build a community where we can actually have these conversations together. And if anyone brings up a topic, I want us to be able to vote on these topics so that you can decide on what you want to watch and what you don't want us to cover. All right. I can see most of you are interested and invested in this topic. All of a sudden, out of the blues, you guys are telling me we want to watch, we want you to talk about something else. All right. So what I want you guys to do is send me video or topic ideas to crossroadsirl@gmail.com. And then when you send in these videos, I will look at them and then I'll pull them in. Now, you want me to sit on the Nigerian situation, I'm going to do that. You guys have asked for it. I'm going to do that. All right. Now, Elite Reacts says, radical Islam is taking over the Democratic Party through the far left. They stir division to keep us distracted while they infiltrate. That's true. Now, Elite Reacts, I don't know how much of the content you've watched. But if you saw the videos that I played earlier, just let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat. Now, I'm going to play a follow-up video to this one because this is another video. All right. I don't want to play the Deola video that I posted. Here's a mass killing. This is a mass funeral taking place. So whenever people tell you that it's not happening, when they tell you it's not happening, all right, it's happening. Elite Reacts, I just found you now. Well, thank you so much for letting me know. Elite Reacts, please consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know if you subscribe, and thank you so much for engaging in the chat. I want us to have a real conversation about the issues that we're covering during the live stream. All right. Now, again, send me video topics you want me to look into and to react to, because I still do my standalone videos where I record my reactions to the news, but for the live streams, I want to talk about things that matter. Jay Cordova says the Mexicans are going to take over. So it's crazy that you have so many people or so many groups or tribes in America suddenly rising up to demand that America belongs to them. The Muslims have stood up. I've played the video. Oh, I haven't played you this video yet. Hang on. I just remembered. Let's see. There are a bunch of videos I haven't played. All right. So here is the way. Now, after Zoran Mamdani won the election, okay, like we're seeing a thread here. We're seeing Nigerian Christians being murdered. We're seeing Zoran Mamdani's his supporters celebrating, a handful celebrating the victory because of free buses, free healthcare and so on. Okay, he didn't say free healthcare, but rent-controlled apartment buildings. Jay Cordova, thank you. You're new here. Please consider subscribing, please. I would love the sub. And when you subscribe, just type subbed in the chat. Okay, just type subbed so that I know you did that. And I would just thank you for jumping in the chat. Now, here's a Muslim celebrating the win of Zoran Mamdani. All right. Did the Muslim stand in the middle of Times Square to sing the American national anthem? Did he pledge allegiance to the flag or to the Constitution? Let's watch what the Muslim did after Zoran Mamdani won the election as mayor. He's ripping off the American flag. To the cheers of hundreds of people. That is what a handful of people look. There are people who believe that if you give this person who says, I'm running as a Muslim, whenever someone is running for election, thank you, Jay Cordova. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it so much. I appreciate it. Jay Cordova, subscribe. I'm going to have to set up a soundboard to celebrate. So whenever someone subs or does something spectacular, like become a member of the channel, I let off an applause. Okay, I'm going to set that up eventually. Whenever someone stands up in front of the American people and says, I am, as a Muslim, no, you're an American citizen. I would even say it's Elite React is a far-right spy. Oh, come on. Okay. Jay Cordova, I would like to see what Elite Reacts really believes before I come to that conclusion. So I'm going to go to his account, his channel. I'm going to take a look, but it's fine. It's fine. Now, if someone decides that they're going to identify first as anything but American, that is a problem. Okay, that's a problem. In Nigeria, and let me give you a brief civics lesson about countries like Nigeria. Nigeria has over 20 tribes within that small country. Each tribe insists that they are being marginalized. Each tribe insists that whatever they do to not be marginalized is justified because the other tribes deserve it. Okay, that is the way people like that talk. Whenever they don't identify as American first, and they begin to push the agenda of the tribe or the group that they represent, it is problematic for the country. It leads to scenes like this. All right, it leads to scenes like this, and I'm very serious. I'm very serious. So whenever I see people who say, as a gay, as an LGBTQ queer person, as a Muslim, and I would even say, even if they stand up to say, as a Christian man, don't do that in the political space. You're injecting something into the atmosphere that is going to create problems. You need to stand up as an American citizen for American values. Now, are those values compatible with Christian values? Yes. However, when you begin to Frost Nova 2, 3, 4 is now a follower. Okay. Thanks for following. If you have people who come up and they are first of all this tribe, because now you have many tribes in the United States. You have the Hispanics, you have the Caucasians, you have the Negro, you have the those from Eastern Europe. Then you have those with ideologies like the LGBTQ community, you have the Christian community, you have the Islamic community, you have the Buddhists, you have the Asians. When you begin to identify as these ideologies, you are splitting up the country into tribes. And tribalism destroys countries. It creates scenes like this. So whenever I have the opportunity to talk about things like this, I try to warn against tribalism. I prefer that we discuss ideas that unify, ideas that bring people together so that we can all kind of share ideas. If the ideas that we're trying to push aren't healthy, we call them out, but in a decent way. All right, we don't start out by accusing someone of being something or doing something. Let's talk about the ideas that they are sharing, and then we come up with our own conclusions. I'm not going to tell you how to think. I'm not going to tell you what to believe, but I will provide you with facts and evidence. Crazy Rune said, tribalism is what destroyed Yugoslavia. You see? Every time you break down Crazy Rune, thank you for the comment. I wish I had my soundboard set up to give you a round of applause because I want to celebrate people who chat for the first time. Once I see someone I haven't seen before, I will celebrate you. Crazy Rune, thank you for that pointer. I have always said it, that tribalism is a problem. I've always said that tribalism is racism, but in a different form. It is being racist against someone who doesn't have the same dialect as you do or come from the same part of the country that you come from. It always creates this. Slowpoke Rodriguez, new here, just subbed too. All right, Slowpoke Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining and subbing. Thank you so much. I'm going to set up that soundboard. Right. Thank you for joining. Now, you've heard what I've said about tribalism. All right. Do you agree that if America or any country adopts a political rhetoric where you begin to pander to the different tribes within the country and not the single identity of the country, that is a problem? All right. I don't know if my question is clear enough. All right. So let me just say it again. I'm sending my team to support you. Elite Reacts, thank you. Thank you so much. I am going to check out your channel. I'm going to check out your channel. All right. Now, if you want to send me topic suggestions, again, you can send topic suggestions to crossroadsirl@gmail.com. All right. I'm very curious to hear from you. All right. Slowpoke Rodriguez is watching from Mexico. Thank you for connecting from Mexico. I hope I pronounced the name properly, Mexico. Thank you for watching from Mexico. Any country that subscribes to tribalism is subscribing to its own destruction. We've seen it happen in Nigeria. Now, I moved my family to Canada. And I am Nigerian and I live in Canada. I moved my family to Canada. And when I see other countries adopting policies that I know destroyed Nigeria, I raise it and I say, look, this is not a good idea. There's a reason why America became a great country. And it wasn't because, now, granted, I know that within America, there are people who identify as Hispanic American, German American. I know that there were people who immigrated, whose families immigrated from Germany. Yeah, I have my concerns about Canada too. You know, I actually plan to have a members only live stream where I talk about these things, because Canada doesn't have free speech. So I want to be very careful what I say in the public space. Mildora is now following. Thank you for following. That is coming from the I think that's the Twitch or the Kick side of things. All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I have my concerns about Canada. Whenever I see these things happening in Western countries, I like to call them out. I have family living in Europe, Canada, the United States. And when I see certain things happening that remind me of the things that have happening or are happening in third world countries, I like to point it out to say this is a bad idea. Now, Axie 1987 is now following. Thank you so much for following. Now, whenever I see things like that happening, I like to call it out. I like to call it out so that these countries don't repeat the mistakes that we've made in the third world. All right. Why did you leave your homeland? I left Nigeria after the Nigerian government sent the army to fire upon protesters who were simply protesting, asking the government for police or law enforcement reform. Young people had been abducted and in some cases murdered by law enforcement, rogue law enforcement officers, and it sparked a month-long protest, peaceful protest in 2020, October of 2020. Between September and October, the protests ran. And the government's response to that protest was to send in the military to kill the protesters. And at that point, I told my wife, we can't raise our kids in this country. We have to move them. And at the time, I had two kids. Precious X is now following. Thank you for following. So at that point, I told my wife we have to leave the country, and we moved. 2 years later, we were out of the country. So that was why I left. I didn't want to leave. In fact, I was one of those people who felt like it was my job to save the country. I had a savior complex. But when I saw what the government did to other young people who didn't know what they were capable of doing, I told my wife we have to move our kids. So that's why I moved. Canary King says, my recommendation be reserved on Canada. There's enough for no. I don't intend to talk about Canada at all. I don't intend to. The reason why I'm staying away from Canada is because, one, I don't know too much about Canadian politics. I like to talk about things I know about. Two, there are other people that are called to talk about Canada. Let them do that. I don't want to get involved in the drama that is the free speech situation or lack of free speech here in Canada. I don't want to get involved in it. So I've made up my mind not to have an opinion on anything that has to do with Canada, at least one that is public or online. Okay, so I'm just being very, very reserved about it. Even when I see stuff in the feed about tariffs or US, Canada, I just ignore it. I don't even bother talking about it or thinking about it. I'm an immigrant here, And one of the rules of being an immigrant is you do not interfere with your host country's politics. So it is almost like an unspoken rule. So I'm just being a law-abiding immigrant. Okay. Canary King says the SARS protests. That's why you should universally respect protests, even if you don't agree with their cause. I do. I respect protests. What I don't respect is when a protest devolves into throwing rocks at federal agents. That's where I have a problem. I also have a problem where the protesters, individual protesters, can't tell you what they're protesting. For the End SARS protest, if you approached anyone who was protesting and asked them, why are you protesting? They could tell you why they were protesting and articulate the argument properly. But for some of the protests that we've covered with the situation in the United States, many of them don't even know why they're there. Okay, so most of them are paid to go out there and protest. All right. Sorry, just give me a sec. My kids are trying to get my attention. Yeah, what's up? That's lovely. So let me show my audience. So my daughter came up to show me her artwork. I'm a dad. I have to be a dad. Can you close the door, please? It's getting cold. All right. Sorry about that. They've been hovering at the door and everything. So yeah, what do you need? Okay. All right. Sorry, my kids are asking me for certain things, and I'm just gonna have to do that from here. All right. So, avoid any Canadian topics. Yes, I will. The Elite podcast says, "Isn't that scary not to have the freedom to have an opinion?" It is. It is. But you have to pick your battles. You have to pick your battles. That's what I would say. You have to pick your battles. I don't think that it is right. I don't think that it is right to see a potential issue or conflict and dive headlong into it. All right. So I pick my battles. I know what I should do, and I avoid the things I shouldn't be doing. Let's see. Canary King, the No Kings protests bothered you. It did. It did. We had a lot of people pushing for something they didn't understand. If President Trump has done something truly egregious, let's talk about it. Don't create a label and try to stick it on him, like pinning the tail to a donkey. Like, you have to come with facts. All right. Thank you, Canary King, for that comment. The Elite podcast said, "Come to America and get $6,000 a month, free healthcare, and you can burn the flag if you desire." That is asinine. I don't like that idea. That idea, for me, it's a problem. It's a problem. All right. It's a problem. All right. Canary King. Now, if you go to a country and a country has been gracious to you, for example, Canada has been kind to me. It has its issues, but one thing that I will not do is bellyache and bad talk the country that has been kind enough to let me in. And then secondly, if I have problems with the country, then I will wait until it is legal for me to speak into those problems. I will obey the laws. I will do the right thing. I have a Canadian flag here. I used to live stream from my basement. Then we remodeled the house and I moved into a spare bedroom. I have a Canadian flag here, right? It used to hang at the back of my set in the basement. So even if I disagree with some of the things and the policies of the country, I wouldn't burn that flag. I wouldn't be flying the Nigerian flag during a protest. I would deport me if I did that. Right? You don't do that to the host country that has been kind to you. Give you $6,000 and look, guy, that is crazy. When I see that happen, it is crazy. Please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing the video if you haven't yet. Okay, I appreciate the engagement. Thank you guys for all the conversations that I'm seeing, both on the main channel and on the backup channel. Most of the talk right now is coming from the backup channel, and guys, I appreciate it. So keep them coming. Let's see. Canary King says, it doesn't matter if they can or can't articulate their protest. It does, honestly. Lovely artwork. Thank you. I'll let her know. Please let her know we like her art. I will. I'll let her know. My daughter is very much like me. Right? She's artistic and so on. I used to draw comics when I was a child in Nigeria. I used to draw comics, but it wasn't seen as a valuable skill. So I went to medical school. I read optometry. So I used to draw comics and so on. My mom didn't like it. She thought that I would be useless if I continued down that path. So my younger sister, I think she's still on the live stream. She used to mourn the fact that I stopped drawing comics. Never Fake says, I'm an illegal immigrant in America. I'm hiding from ICE. Wow. All right, so Never Fake, what I would say is just find an immigration lawyer and see if they can help. All right, just see how they can help. It is heartbreaking when you flee a country that you honestly, most people who go undocumented are fleeing for their lives, you know. And I get that dynamic. So talk to an immigration lawyer, talk to someone who can help, and then see how they, how they can help out. Let's see. Canary King, she has some art fans in New York. I will let her know. Never Fake asking again, are you employed in Canada? Does the government give you help? No, the government, surprisingly, in Canada is not, they are not pro illegal immigration. In fact, yesterday I saw a video where they are being even more strict about their immigration policies. If you happen to have a traffic violation, you will get deported. So they're getting very strict. All right. My sister just posted in the chat saying she's still mourning the fact that I stopped drawing. So yeah. Yep, she's still mourning. The Elite Podcast. Too much freedom can be a bad thing sometimes. We are seeing that in America now. The reason why it appears that like too much freedom is a bad thing is because the Constitution of the United States was written for a moral and Christian society. So what people see as too much freedom is something that was created for people who understand restraint, temperance, like the Bible teaches. When you bring in people who don't recognize those principles, then the Constitution is too free, right? Second Amendment says you have the right to keep and bear arms. First Amendment says you have the freedom of speech, expecting that those people who carry out those constitutional rights will do so within a Christian, within the boundaries of Christian restraint. So when we have people like in the comments that we covered say, get the 10 commandments out of school, I'm like, well, then you don't understand the country you live in. Essentially, what people like that are asking for is they want the country to be reformed into a secular, godless country. That means the constitution does not hold. That means the very thing that made your country great has been destroyed. Good luck, because you have just inherited a country that you will not recognize. Like those who are celebrating the victory and screaming that they want Sharia law. Good luck. Canary King says, do you still draw? No, I don't. If I practiced, maybe I might be able to draw something passable, but not as good as I did when I was young. No, not as good as that. The Elite Podcast says, you are a doctor, optometrist, doctor of optometry. Yeah, I am. I spent 10 years in college learning something that I wouldn't use. Just imagine that, because once I was done with that, I went into software design. My dad still grieves that today. He's not in the live stream, but he would say, yes, I grieve it still today. So when I got my diploma, I created a scan on Staples and I shipped it to him because he lives in Virginia. So when I got it, I did a virtual scan of it and a printout on Staples, and I got it shipped to him in Virginia. So it still stings. Canary King also asking, you're a doctor? Yes, I am. Slowpoke Rodriguez, I have a few crooked, corrupt correctional officers buddies. They need to be deported. Well, there is a way to report them. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, who is it? Zoe, come in, but I am live streaming. You guys should wait until I get back. No, fine. Meanwhile, people on live stream said they like your artwork. Right? She also crochets. She's showing me her latest. Fine. Just wait until I'm done. I'll come out again. Because I need to wrap up the live stream. All right. So Slowpoke Rodriguez, if they are in the United States, there's a way to report them, and I think there's a whistleblower process. I guess you can do that. The Elite Podcast, I 100% agree. A godless country is a lawless country as well. Yeah. And when you say things like this, it sounds like you're being a bigot to other religions. But let's tell the truth. How many countries in the world that are not Christian have achieved first world status? How many? That's just a question to honestly ask and respond to. Canary King says founding fathers were actually Masons. That is the accusation. The question is, do we have proof? What we have is, in the 90s and early 2000s, there was this drive to say, no, the founding fathers actually were not Christians. They were Freemasons. All right, that is national treasure, conspiracy theory, and so on. Well, what we do have is their writings. And most of the writings that they've put out there have been very clear that they wanted the country to have a Christian constitution built on Christian values. That's even Thomas Jefferson, who wasn't a Christian, wrote his own version of the Bible, still decided, I want the country to run on Christian values. All right, so secret society people were the founding fathers. Well, again, I've answered that. Canary King, why not practice medicine? So when I was in my close to my final year of study, I asked myself the question, do I really want to sit in a clinic or in a hospital waiting for people to get sick? It felt odd and off to me. It was like, I only have a job when people get sick. And if I wake up in the morning to pray, I'm like, Lord, help me get good business today. That basically means I'm praying for people to get sick. I know it's possibly an immature way of looking at life or looking at things, but it kind of felt that way. And so I kind of pulled back from wanting to practice. My mom wanted me to join her in the United States and get a master's in optometry, do laser surgery or something. But I kind of lost the passion to do so. So who knows? Maybe I could have been living in the United States by now if I pursued that. The Elite Podcast. Americans' core values are based on Christianity. The people that hate America hate our core Christian values. That is true. It has, even from within, whenever you hear people, especially in the Democrat Party, talk about white Christian nationalists, it is said in a way to it's like an insult and an accusation. And when you don't recognize the Christian roots of the American society, it is a problem. Elite Podcast is asking, did you get educated in Canada? No, I didn't. I was educated in Nigeria. The plan was that I would move to the United States to further my education, but I opted out. Canary King. Oh, wow. Very creative. Okay. Yeah, the crochet. Yeah, my daughter is very creative, and she's like me. She has the shiny object syndrome. She draws, stops halfway, and then picks up her crochet and begins to crochet, and then she wants more yarn to do something different. Timelex7 is now following. Thank you, Timelex7. So we have those incidents that take place. I said that, Tony, hey, how are you doing? Good to see you. All right. The crew is almost complete. All right. She's going to make you proud. Yeah. She is. They all are. Tara said, if I had half the talents you do, oh, come on, stop glazing me in front of the world. That's my sister. Tara is my sister. So, and Tara is also gifted. She has her YouTube channel where she publishes her own music. She writes music. So she's telling me about talent. She plays the guitar. I don't play the guitar, and I would love to learn to play the guitar, but she does. She plays the guitar. She writes music. She sings. She's awesome. So Tara says, if I had half the talents you do, playing the keyboard, okay, now you're telling them I play the keyboard, bake wedding and birthday cakes, support the birthing of puppies. Yes, I used to raise dogs. Artists, you would have been creating Marvel characters or owned your own entertainment outfit. Possibly, but from Nigeria, I don't know. Canary King says, it's not disputed that they were Masons and other secret societies. I'm surprised that you're not aware of. No, I am aware of those conversations around them being Masons and there being secret societies. Is it far-fetched? No. So, I would say that that conversation is something that we can have and keep doing research. There are books written on them. Maybe I am just an optimist, that anyone who says that they're a Christian, I give them the benefit of the doubt. But I do know that some of the founding fathers of Nigeria who claim to be Christians also dabbled in the occult. So I would say, granted, yeah, that could be a possibility, and I don't have any issues with that if it was true. And when I say I don't have any issues, it doesn't change the way I see the United States of America. It doesn't. Where I almost lost my place. All right. Kirk, can I address you as Dr. Crossroads? Oh, I don't practice. I only use it. I only use the doctor title professionally when I'm trying to. Back in Nigeria, I used it to great effect in Nigeria. I did. I was like, if I'm going to get the attention of these people who think I'm just a web designer, I have to put the doctor in front of my name. And you know what? It worked. I would introduce myself as Dr. So-and-so. You know, I run this web design company and so on. Let's have a conversation. They took me seriously. They did. It actually did work to great effect. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe if you haven't. Okay, I just remembered I have to say that. Okay. Elite Podcast. Now people are subscribing to each other. So if you like what someone is saying in the chat now, Elite Podcast is chatting from the backup channel. So if you're watching from the backup channel, you can click on his chat and you can subscribe to his channel. I would like to just encourage people to reward people who engage in the community, to subscribe and encourage them. Excuse me. And subscribe to Canary King, subscribe to I Set the Tone, subscribe to Slowpoke Rodriguez. I want you guys to succeed, okay? You guys have some great ideas. I want you guys to also build your own communities. Since we're having this conversation, I really want us to help each other. So I'm going to spotlight you guys. I'm going to just say, look, everyone, if you can see the names of the people on the chat view on the screen, search them out on YouTube and subscribe to them. Okay, please subscribe to them. It will be a great thing for them to be encouraged. Okay. The Elite Podcast says it's very expensive to get education in America. Only the privileged get it. Well, there's student loans, which I don't subscribe to. So not just the privileged get it. If you want to get an education, you need to get an education in STEM so that it allows you to pay off your student loans faster. Or you go to a state school or a community college. Get a technical skill, something that lets you begin to generate revenue to pay off your student loans very quickly. Okay, someone is asking for me to share Tara's link. Okay, I'm going to do something very special. I'm going to share everyone's link that I've called out. So you guys, if you don't mind, all right, if you're in the chat, all right, and you're fine with me sharing your YouTube profile, just say yes. I don't want to impose. If you want to live a private life and you don't want people subscribing to hear what you have to say, I don't want to force it on you. So Tara has already been getting a lot of activity. So I'm going to post Tara's channel link first. I'm going to post her channel link first. I'm going to post it, and then anyone who feels comfortable with me, this is Tara's link. I'm going to just say Tara. All right. So Tara is my baby sister. So that's Tara's link. I'm going to, so if you want to subscribe to her channel and listen to her music, her music is uplifting. It is very special music, and of course she composed it and produced her own music. So enjoy. Let's see. If you want me to share your profile, please just say yes. I don't want to push anyone out there who doesn't want to be pushed. All right. This whole thing started with people requesting. Okay, so Tara has already subscribed to Canary King and to I set the tone. Amazing. Okay, so where was I? Where was I? Dr. Crossroads, no. Education, yeah. I set the tone, hailing, yes, hey brother, I see you in the chat. I see you in the chat. Okay. So Canary King confirming that he just subscribed. Elite Podcast says, can you share her channel? Yes, I just did. Canary King says, wait, what? Crossroads, you play the keyboards? Yes, I play the keyboards. I play the keyboards. All right, wow, Tara, incredible. That is Tone. Thank you for subscribing, Canary King. Canary King says, if you want, we can have a show about the founding fathers or secret societies. Look, if you guys want it, we can do it. If you guys want us to talk about the founding fathers, secret societies, and everything else that we've, mentioned here, look, guys, send an email to crossroadsirl@gmail.com. All right, send in the topics you think we should talk about, and then we're going to be letting you know in the community posts that it's coming, and then everyone gets on board. It's really that simple. All right, I want this. I mean, you guys may have watched the intro to the live stream. This live stream is driven by you. So I may have a plan. For example, my plan for this live stream went out the window almost an hour ago because you guys wanted to talk about Nigeria. And then after talking about Nigeria for a bit, you guys wanted to talk to me. Okay, so it's driven completely by you guys. And you know what? I'm looking forward to the day where we log into the live stream and after the first 5 minutes, you guys take over. And when I say you guys take over, we're like having a real conversation about the things that matter to you. I'm not, contrary to what people might assume, I'm not looking for the spotlight. I'm a very private person. I hate traveling. I hate hanging out in parties. I get tired when I get into crowds. I am a real introvert. So I'm not trying to kind of aggrandize myself. I want to kind of connect with you, and I want us to build a community that in 10, 15 years really shapes how conversations about life and politics and culture should look like, because I don't like what it looks like right now. Canary King says, Tara, can't wait to enjoy your music. Again, send your suggestions, topic suggestions. If you want to connect deeper, you can connect by going to crossroadsirl@gmail.com. Send an email. Let's connect that way. If you want to join the membership of the channel, all right, if you're like, I like this guy, I want to support what he does. If you're on the backup channel and you want to join the membership, or if you want to leave a super chat, or if you want to donate, okay, I didn't even post the donation link. Okay, so I'm going to post the donation link. But if you want to join the membership, please feel free to use the link in the description of this live stream to join the membership. We want to where we have a call-in feature that kind of broke early this week, so we're trying to fix it, but it allows the members to connect and to be part of the show. All right, Tony and I had a nice show on Saturday. He called in and it was fun. I enjoyed it, and I want to have more shows like that with the rest of you guys. Elite Reacts. I mean, you seem to know what you're doing. I mean, have guys like you on the show so we can have real conversations. So you can support by, like what you're doing right now is supporting me. Watching the show is already supporting me. All right. Chatting is a different level of support, and I appreciate it so much. If you want to make it a financial contribution by donating or something, then look, I would love for you to do that because it keeps the lights on. Literally keeps the lights on. All right, so let's keep going. All right. Tony says, I received today my Charlie Kirk's Freedom Cap. I bought it on Officer Tatum podcast. I can't wait to wear it everywhere. Amazing. Officer Tatum is another creator that I follow. Please, if you haven't watched his content or followed him, please consider doing so. I can't recommend him enough. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so Tara says, I already subscribed to Canary King and to I Set the Tone. Okay, so you guys have new subscribers. I'm waiting for the rest of you to say yes, push subscribers my way. Elite Podcasts. All right, Elite Podcast, I'm still waiting for you to say yes, I want more. I want you guys to send someone my way. Okay, but because I don't want to impose. Canary King, thanks, Tara. Dr. Crossroads, are both of your parents Nigerian? Yes, they are. Both of my parents are Nigerian. They both sang in the choir at our local church, but neither played an instrument. I was the first person in my family to learn how to play an instrument, and I was largely self-taught. I learned how to play the keyboards, self-taught. My mom bought a keyboard to learn how to play. She would hide it in their bedroom, and on Sundays I would sneak into their bedroom while they weren't home, unpack the keyboard, learn to play, put it back in the box, and put it back in their bedroom. For weeks it happened, but that's how I basically started learning how to play the keyboard. Tara says the conversation about the founding fathers will be super exciting. Okay, so I am going to write down in my notebook over here, founding fathers. Then I will put out a community post with a possible poll asking, okay, founding fathers. I want us to kind of drive the conversation. Okay, I mean everything I say about the show and about what I want from you guys and what you guys can expect from me, and I want to live up to those promises. Okay, let's see. Canary King says, have you heard of Skill and Bones? Oh, Skull and Bones. Is that a channel? Or is that the Jolly Roger that pirates have as their mascot or flag? I mean, I need to understand. I don't know if it's a channel or if it's just the Jolly Roger that you're describing. Can you post the links of the channels for those on... Okay, Elite Podcast. Okay, so Elite Podcast is being very shy. He's not asking to be promoted, but I will have to, because now people are asking for. Now there are two channels here. There's Elite Podcast and Elite Reacts. I can see. I don't know if they are different or they are the same. 4,000 subscribers. Okay, there are two different channels. One channel has content. Okay, I'm going to put up the content, the one with the videos at the Elite Podcast. I'm going to share the Elite Podcast with you guys. Okay, so I'm sure he will appreciate it. So I'm going to post. So you guys head on over to Elite Podcast. All right, so that's his channel. All right, I hope I'm making great connections for you guys. I hope I'm making great connections for you guys. I want you guys to connect. I want you guys to build something big and great. Trucking Drama says Elite is a gay guy from Arkansas. To be honest, I don't care. I want to have conversations with people, and if they want to have conversations with me, it's fine. Where we will have a divergence is where the conversations become untenable, like it's more of insults and no point is being made. But I don't think that's a problem. All right, so Trucking Drama guy, it's fine. It's fine, and thanks for commenting. I'm going to set up that that soundboard where new people who chat on the live streams get noticed. We're going to have an applause or something. All right. We hit a milestone on Restream. We've reached 100 messages today with Restream, and thank you guys. You guys made it possible. I just got that notification and it popped up on the screen in front of you guys. We just hit 100 conversations, which is amazing. Thank you. Thank you for engaging in the chat. You guys are amazing. Okay, so back to your messages. American says that's actually the origin story of the Jacksons too. Really? Joe Jackson found out when they broke a guitar string. Oh, so they stole his guitar to learn how to play. Really? I don't recall hearing that. Thank you for letting me know that. All right. Okay, so we are at the end of all of your messages. I assume you're all talked out for the day, unless one of you has something else to say. I would love for you guys to please, again, subscribe, like, and share. I would love to have these kinds of conversations on a daily basis. We go live every day at noon Eastern Time, and I would love to have you come back tomorrow. We are going to be exploring. We have Yandexiop. I think this is coming from the Twitch or the Kick side. Thank you for following the channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Let us know that you subbed by typing subbed in the chat. I would love to know that you connected. If you're interested in joining the membership, becoming a member of the channel, let me know by requesting the link for the membership. The link for the membership is available in the description of the live stream. But here's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to send you the link. I'm going to post the link right now. All right, I'm just going to send you the link to join the membership. So give me a moment. I've been very reluctant to ask. I've been reluctant to ask. The reason why I have been reluctant to ask is that I'm a very shy person. I am shy about asking for help because I don't want to impose. I don't think it's a good thing for the kind of thing that we're doing here. It's not a good thing because if I don't ask, I won't get help. Now, the reason why I'm asking you to help by supporting the channel, by donating, or by joining the membership is that it allows me to do this full-time, possibly full-time, to be able to do more research, improve the quality of the content, and provide you with better entertaining experiences when we do this. And again, to also allow most of you to have this as a kind of portal or corridor to connect with other people of like mind. I can see that, like, you can't imagine how happy I am that a bunch of you decided to subscribe to each other today. You see how easy it is for me to promote you guys, but I struggle to promote myself because I essentially am a very shy person. But what I do need is I need you guys to consider supporting me by either donating to the channel or by joining the membership. If you can't do that financially, if you can't do a long-term commitment financially, just do a donation. But if you can't do anything financially because you're not in a position to do so, or you don't trust me yet, that's fine. You can simply keep watching, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. Just watching the video is supporting me enough. Okay. Trucking Drama says again, Elite has Tommy on speed. Who's Tommy? I don't know who Tommy is. Okay, I don't know who Tommy is. Right. So, we're going to be wrapping up the live stream here. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Tomorrow we're going to be opening up. Tomorrow, let's make a date. Tomorrow we're going to talk about the genocide happening in Nigeria. We will open up to that, but we're going to also be looking at what's going on in the United States. So maybe we open up with something that's pertinent to the United States, but also talk about the United States involvement in dealing with the genocide of Christians in Nigeria, and possibly the genocide of Christians elsewhere in the world, and see what we can learn from those incidents. Okay. Everyone who now I'm going to do a roll call. Everyone who has been a part of making this live stream a success, I'm going to do a roll call. Canary Kin, Tara, who else? Elite Reacts. We also had Jay Cordova, Crazy Rune, Slowpoke Rodriguez. We also have I Set the Tone, Never Fake. We also have I think that is just about it. Just this handful of heroes pushed so much conversation that we got notified that we crossed 100 messages. And then finally, Trucking Drama, who came in at the last bit to give us some insights to one of the viewers. Okay, thank you all so much. You guys made this live stream a legendary live stream. Now, before we go, let me know in the chat if you are interested in talking about the topics I mentioned just a few moments ago. Do you want us to talk about the genocide of Christians in Nigeria and the United States involvement in dealing with that? Let me know in the chat. Okay, just say yes, I'm interested in discussing that tomorrow. If there's anything else that you want us to discuss tomorrow, feel free to let me know in the chat. I will include it in my notes and we will have that conversation tomorrow. It will be a date. We will open up with those conversations. I will do the research, we will have the videos, and we will have the conversation around those topics. So that's what I'm asking you right now. I'm asking you to let me know what you want us to talk about tomorrow, and we will talk about it tomorrow at noon Eastern time. So I'm going to wait for you guys to let me know. This is you guys writing your own ticket. This is a choose your adventure moment. All right? I know that there's something happening tomorrow, but if something changes, again, you can also send me an email to crossroadsirl crossroadsirl@gmail.com. I'm going to type that into the chat. Okay. Send an email to crossroadsirl@gmail.com. Okay, so you can send story or topic suggestions. Send topic suggestions to crossroadsirl@gmail.com. Okay, so that you can let us know what you want to talk about, and then we can quickly do research around those and then bring them up during the next live stream. This is your live stream. This is you driving the conversation. My job is to facilitate the conversation. I could start it, I could raise the topics, but you drive the conversation. And I really am looking forward to you guys taking this on. I am throwing down the gauntlet, guys. I want you guys to now tell me, this is what I want. And then I'll say, your wish is my command. I will go ahead and do the work. I will put this all together. And tomorrow at noon Eastern, we sit down and then we talk about what you said we need to talk about. Have you ever had that moment where your significant other says, we need to talk? Guys know that sinking feeling when you hear that statement, we need to talk. All right, well, let's determine what we talk about tomorrow. So send your topics as an email to crossroadsirl@gmail.com, or you can send it as a chat. While I'm blabbing, I'm giving you some room to make suggestions before we end the live stream. All right, this has been fun. I have enjoyed this live stream thoroughly. I didn't know it was going to be this lively, but it has been. And it appears that a lot of people want to talk about this topic. So let's talk about the topic. Let's talk about the topic. If there's something else you want to talk about tomorrow, you can let me know in the chat or send it as an email. I'm actually checking my inbox to see if you guys have begun sending me messages. All right. So today has been amazing. I appreciate everything that you guys have done, the milestones that we've crossed. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, I'll be shutting down the live stream and I'll be seeing you guys on the next one tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern. All right. Good.